Okay, so there is a very big reason why I sat on this for like the longest period of time, right? I haven't even covered it since I think the changes in 3.17, I think. But anyway, there is a change to the Zeus set, and there are two things that I will test. But the first thing that I will test is what is the actual proc chance, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I want to clarify whether are we still able to have a 25% proc chance against enemies who are of the type advantage. So for example, this guy here is Inferno type, right? Am I able to land the stun 25% of the time? Oh, sorry, 20% of the time against that Esper because I'm a wind type. And the second test that I want to do for today is to test out how the multi-hit actually works and how it might affect the proc chance of Zeus set. How does it reduce over the multi-hit, for example? Okay, so the way that we want to test this is to use our normal attack, which only hits one time, and we have the Zeus set. So we are going to target an enemy who is Inferno type just to see whether if we miss, is that going to affect our proc chance, for example. So here we go. Okay, so I just noticed that we landed a miss, but we were still able to land a stun. So that was the first thing that I wanted to clarify. So just like in the past, whenever you land a miss, you would still be able to land a stun, potentially. So let's move on to testing out how it works on a multi-hit. So we're going to use Gabriel for this test. So the way we are going to test is to use our first skill, which hits twice, just to see what is the long run average of our proc chance, and then we can kind of figure out how the proc chance actually reduces due to multi-hits. But that will just be the first test. If need be, I might actually progress to like using her second skill instead, which hits 3 times, just to see how it performs as well. But yeah, without further ado, let's begin. So quick pause, what I noticed is that we have not yet actually received any double stuns because we land a double attack, right? But it could just be sheer luck. We have not actually landed a double stun, which normally should have been the case. So I'm not sure whether did they decide to remove the multi-hitting factor that applies stuns, right? If that's the case, that means that all attacks would then have just a 20% proc chance for the Zeus set, which is a major nerf to multi-hitting Espers. But of course, you can just refer to the screen for the numbers just to see what are the number of attacks that we have done and what are the number of stuns that we have done. So if right now it's at like 20%, then we can more or less guarantee that multi-hits no longer land extra stuns, which is really sucks, in my opinion. Really sucks for multi-hitting Espers. Okay, so that was incredibly puzzling. I'm not sure why there were 2 resistances, right? Just give the video a short rewind and you will notice that we actually got resisted twice. But for Gabrielle, there is nothing on her kit that allows her to be resisted. There is nothing in her kit that can potentially be resisted. It is just extra damage. So then what I assume is the only thing that is being resisted is, I think it is her Zeus set. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do feel like it is the Zeus set that is being resisted here. So this might be the nerf to the Zeus set. I'm not sure. And the reason why I say it is because let's just assume that the 2 resistances were actually the Zeus set being resisted. So we're going to add that 2 into the 17 for a total of 19 stuns. Let's assume that we had 19 stuns in the first place, right? 19 procs, because that's all we care about. So then 19 divided by 50, that would be our average proc rate, which is actually 38%. Now in the past, before they actually changed up the Zeus set a little bit according to whatever that they said that they were gonna do, the long run average chance for you to land a single stun or more is actually 36% in the past, right? So it's 1 minus 0.8 times 0.8, and that is 36%. Now since we did a pretty extensive test by using 50 single attacks, I dare say that our numbers are pretty accurate. So that means that in terms of the average proc chance, it doesn't seem like a 2-hit attack is actually affected by any changes to the Zeus set, apart from the fact that it could potentially be resisted right now. Actually, I'm pretty certain that it's going to be able to be resisted. So the thing is, we have 45% accuracy, and the Esper that we were attacking, which I believe is this Esper here, has 20% base resistance, which means that we actually have a flat 20% chance of being resisted. And in order for us to have a flat 20% chance of being resisted, we should have seen about 5 resistance procs, not just 2. But you know what? 2 and 5, it's kind of close. It could be just down to the dumb luck. So my suspicion is that resistance does play a factor in the Zeus set right now. So this is something that I also noticed when I'm using Ahmed nowadays. I feel like I'm not landing as many stuns as I used to in the past, and I'm not actually sure why that's the case. So this is the point of this part of the video. And at least we are bringing something to light right now, which is that the Zeus set has a potential to be stunned. I'm not sure whether was it designed this way or is it like a slip up, for example. Anyway, just to humor you guys, and because I hate myself, let's just do this again. Now, this time I'm gonna be using my triple hit skill, so I'm gonna be using my second skill. Actually, maybe I'm not gonna do this because it does come with a defense break, which allows us to be resisted. So instead of using Gabriel, I'm gonna change to my Ahmed, because Ahmed also triple hits on his first skill, right? So he also triple hits, and he has the Zeus set. Oh my god, he does not have the Zeus set, but the thing is he has a triple hit, so if we do get any resistances here, this would then show up in the run as well. Okay, so I quickly changed up his kit a little bit. So now he has the Zeus set. So what I'm going to do is the same thing, right? But just that I'm going to use my first skill to test out a triple hit. And what is the proc chance of Zeus after this triple hit? Alright, let's do it. Oh my god, we got resisted immediately. Okay, we did get a double stun there, which is it's a sigh of relief, I guess. Okay, very interesting. So based on the numbers, right, we had 16 attempts to stun, 5 of which were resisted. So 16 divided by 34 is actually 47%. And in the past, right, the proc chance for us to land a Zeus stun is actually 1 minus 0.8 times 0.8 times 0.8, which is actually 48.8%, or I'm just going to round it to 49%, which is very similar to our current proc chance. So just like I suspected in the first Gabriel test, there isn't actually a change in the proc chance of landing Zeus. Instead, right now, there is a chance for you to be resisted. So out of 20 stun procs, we got resisted 6 times. But we should have expected a 20% resist chance because 20 minus 6% is less than 20%. So it should bounce back up to 20%. Which gives me the hunch that probably the first hit of all of your attacks would not be resisted. And that's the reason why the proc chance is actually a little bit weird. Or rather, the resistance chance is actually a little bit weird. It's not at 20%. But you know what? Enough with the suspicions. I'm gonna use my Charmers here with the Zeus set. And I'm going to use my normal attack, which does not have anything that could potentially be resisted. And let's see whether his single hitting skill can actually be resisted or not. So this is I guess this is like the final test for us. So this part is going to be a little bit easier for me to edit because I just need to keep running until we eventually hit a resist. If we do hit a resist, then that's about it, right? We can more or less guarantee that, yes, it actually has a chance of being resisted even with a single hitting skill. Because what they said in the patch notes is that they were only going to affect multi-hitting Espers. They were not good. We got resisted. Oh my god, we got resisted on the last hit. So I guess that's a change to Zeus set, right? Even on your single target, single hitting skills, you can also be resisted. Oh my god, I got a call. So this summarizes the changes to the Zeus set. Oh my god, we went a whole round just to confirm that the Zeus set can actually be resisted. So in my opinion, this changes a lot for a lot of different aspects. So for example, if you're going to be using the Zeus set on aspects like Ahmed, right? A lot of players do that. It may not necessarily be the best choice right now because of the fact that most players would not naturally build Ahmed with any kind of accuracy at all. Most players would just load him with a lot of HP, a lot of speed as well, and just mainly these two, and everything else perhaps into some defense, perhaps into, yeah, that's basically it, isn't it? Maybe a little bit of resistance for PvP, but in terms of accuracy on Ahmed, it is completely unheard of. So for other aspects as well that lands a lot of multi-hits, the Zeus set might not be that good anymore. So right now the Zeus set is only really good on aspects that naturally need a lot of accuracy. So for example, your controlling aspects, your Tricky, your Gabrielle, these aspects, or maybe even your Everett as well. These aspects would still function very well with the Zeus set. It no longer functions that well for Ahmed unless you're willing to sacrifice a little bit more of his precious stats. Like let's say, you may not always have the best RNG, right? So let's say if you get terrible luck and maybe in order for you to gain that extra accuracy, you need to sacrifice a little bit more on your HP, for example, or maybe a little bit more on your speed. I don't think it's really worth it, but then again, you have a lot of slots for your relics, right? You have speed, you have HP, you also have accuracy, and you still have one more room for defense percentage if you so needed to. So it is still possible to build Ahmed with a little bit more accuracy for the Zeus set to work, but it's going to be much harder for your relics. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's content. I sure did as well. I learned a lot from this experiment. I learned a lot from this process. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video as well, the edits and all that. It took a lot of time. Feel free to share this video around with any of your peers so that they understand how the Zeus set works right now. But anyway, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Derry Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.